Welcome to FlashCore, your sharpest source for daily headlines and deep dives. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay ahead of the curve. Big news. Canada just announced new trade alliances with 11 countries, and the US isn't one of them. This isn't just another diplomatic headline, it's a direct shakeup for the American economy and a clear pivot away from the traditional US-Canada partnership. What does this mean for the American brands we all know? The ground is shifting beneath them. The open door to Canada might be closing, or at least getting a lot more crowded. Today, we're diving into 7 major US brands that could be in real trouble because of this move. This is about connecting the dots between politics and the real-world impact on household names. Let's get into it. First up, Ford, a name synonymous with American automotive innovation and a key player in the global market. Ford and Canada's auto industries have always been tightly linked. Parts and vehicles cross the border constantly, creating a seamless flow of goods that has benefited both economies for decades. But with Canada now looking to Europe and Asia for trade, Ford faces new competition. The landscape is shifting, and Ford must adapt quickly. Imagine German or Japanese automakers getting lower tariffs and easier access to Canadian buyers. This could drastically alter the competitive balance. Suddenly, a Ford F-150 built in Michigan could be at a price disadvantage, making it harder to compete on Canadian soil. Ford's supply chain is a web that crisscrosses the border. New trade pacts could mean more paperwork, higher costs, and slower production, complicating an already intricate system. The auto industry is already sensitive to disruptions. Just look at recent chip shortages, which have shown how fragile the supply chain can be. Now Ford may have to rethink its entire North American strategy, considering new alliances and partnerships to stay competitive. Shifting production or finding new suppliers isn't quick or cheap. It requires time, investment, and a strategic vision for the future. Canadian consumers are loyal, but price matters. If a competitor offers a similar car for less, Ford's dominance could erode, impacting its market share. A century of brand building in Canada is suddenly at risk, as new players enter the market with aggressive strategies. The assumption of a smooth US-Canada partnership is gone, replaced by uncertainty and the need for new negotiations. Ford now faces a future where it's no longer the default choice, requiring innovation and adaptation to maintain its position. The company must adapt to a landscape where its closest neighbor is looking elsewhere, exploring new opportunities and challenges. For Ford, this is a foundational test, a moment that will define its future in the North American market. The North American auto market just got a lot more complicated, with new dynamics and players reshaping the industry. Ford's next moves will determine if it can keep its grip on Canada, a market that has been crucial to its success. The stakes, billions in sales and decades of brand loyalty, all hanging in the balance as Ford navigates this new terrain. The road ahead is anything but smooth, filled with challenges that will test Ford's resilience and adaptability. Ford's North American playbook needs a rewrite, a fresh approach to tackle the evolving market dynamics and secure its future. Now, let's talk about General Electric, GE. This is a company that's been a powerhouse in the global industrial landscape for over a century, shaping the way we live, work, and connect. GE is everywhere. Power plants that keep our lights on, hospitals that rely on their advanced medical equipment, and airports where their jet engines power flights around the world. Canada has always been a huge market for their big-ticket infrastructure projects, from energy grids to healthcare technology, making it a cornerstone of GE's international business. But now, new trade deals could give European giants like Siemens or Alstom a leg up, opening doors that were once firmly in GE's grasp. If tariffs drop or regulations ease for these rivals, GE could lose out on billion-dollar contracts, deals that often define the future of entire industries. It's not just about one sale. Losing a project means losing decades of service and maintenance revenue, which are critical for long-term stability and growth. GE's edge has always been its strong North American presence and reputation for reliability, with deep roots in both the US and Canada. But if Canada's new partners get preferential treatment, that advantage shrinks, and GE's historic dominance could quickly erode. GE would have to compete on price and tech alone, in a market suddenly tilted toward others, where every contract becomes a fierce battle. This could force GE to rethink investments, staffing, and even R&D in Canada, potentially slowing innovation and affecting local economies. The ripple effect could be huge, impacting everything from jobs to innovation, and even the future of Canadian industry itself. For GE, the rules of the game are changing fast, and the company must stay agile to survive. The Canadian market is no longer a safe bet. It's now a high-stakes arena where only the most adaptable will thrive. Every new trade deal is a potential threat to their long-term business, forcing GE to constantly reassess its strategies. GE must adapt or risk losing its place at the table as the landscape shifts beneath their feet. The competition just got a lot tougher, and the next moves will determine who leads the future of industry in Canada and beyond. Let's look at Coca-Cola. Coke's North American operations are deeply integrated. Ingredients, packaging, and marketing all flow across the border. But if Canada's new trade deals make it cheaper to import sugar or aluminum from other countries, Coke's US suppliers could lose out. Even more, new deals could bring in rival soft drink brands from Europe, the UK, or Mexico at lower prices. Supermarket shelf space is limited, and cheaper imports could push Coke aside. Coke's dominance in Canadian stores and restaurants is built on ubiquity and exclusive contracts. If competitors can offer better deals, those relationships could be up for grabs. The threat isn't just to Coke's supply chain, it's to its very presence in Canada. A slow erosion of market share could follow as new brands gain ground. Coke's brand power relies on being everywhere. These new trade dynamics put that at risk. The Canadian market could become a battleground for global beverage brands. For Coca-Cola, staying on top just got a lot harder. The fizz might be fading. Now let's talk about McDonald's, the fast food giant whose golden arches are instantly recognizable around the world. In Canada, those arches are everywhere, from bustling city centers to quiet suburbs, all relying on a seamless supply chain that stretches across the US border and beyond. But with new international trade deals on the horizon, it could soon become cheaper for McDonald's Canada to source beef from Brazil or cheese from France, rather than sticking with North American suppliers. This means US suppliers and manufacturers, who have long been the backbone of McDonald's Canadian operations, could lose out to global competitors offering lower prices or unique products. Even the kitchen equipment, which has traditionally been made in the US, might be replaced by imports from Asia or Europe if tariffs drop and costs fall, changing the very tools used to make your favorite meals. At the same time, new international fast food chains could enter the Canadian market more easily, bringing fresh competition and putting even more pressure on McDonald's to innovate and adapt. McDonald's core promise has always been consistency. A Big Mac should taste the same in Toronto as it does in Texas, or anywhere else in the world. But if these supply chains fragment or become unreliable, that famous consistency is suddenly at risk, and customers may notice the difference. Rising costs, shifting suppliers, and new rivals could force McDonald's to completely rethink its Canadian strategy, from sourcing to menu offerings. The brand's dominance, once taken for granted, is now anything but certain as market share and customer loyalty come under threat. In fact, the Canadian market could soon become a proving ground for global fast food innovation, with new menu items and technology being tested here before rolling out worldwide. For McDonald's, the stakes are higher than ever. Operational costs, market share, and even the core brand identity are all on the line in this rapidly changing landscape. The Golden Arches now face a direct challenge to their North American model, as new competitors and shifting trade rules threaten their long-standing dominance. Adapting quickly, embracing change, and staying ahead of the curve will be absolutely key to McDonald's survival in Canada's evolving fast food scene. The world's most famous burger chain is suddenly on uncertain ground, facing challenges that could reshape its future in Canada and beyond. Let's talk Procter & Gamble, PG. Their brands, Tide, Pampers, Gillette, dominate shelves in both the US and Canada, thanks to a unified North American strategy. But Canada's new trade deals could open the door for European giants like Unilever or Henkel. Suddenly, P&G faces cheaper imports and tougher competition. If tariffs or regulations change, P&G might have to create separate packaging or even reformulate products just for Canada. That shatters their One North America model and adds costly complexity. Even small bureaucratic hurdles can create massive headaches when multiplied across thousands of products. Retailers may give prime shelf space to new, cheaper brands. PG's dominance is built on being the easiest, most reliable choice. Now they'll have to fight harder for every sale. The Canadian market is no longer a safe haven. For P&G, defending their turf just got a lot more expensive. The battle for Canadian households is on. Now, Boeing. Canada has always been a key market for Boeing's commercial and military aircraft. Canadian suppliers are deeply integrated into Boeing's production lines. But new trade deals could give Airbus, the European giant, a major advantage. We've already seen Airbus take over Bombardier's C-Series, rebranding it as the A220. If Canada's next big aircraft purchase is influenced by new trade alliances, Boeing could lose out on contracts worth billions. The same goes for military deals. Canada might favor European jets over Boeing's if political winds shift. Losing Canada as a strategic partner would weaken Boeing's global position. Other countries watch these decisions closely. For Boeing, the Canadian market was supposed to be safe territory. Now it's a battleground where Airbus could have the upper hand. The ripple effects would hit jobs, suppliers, and the entire North American aerospace industry. Boeing must adapt to a new reality fast. The stakes are enormous. The skies over Canada are up for grabs. Finally, Caterpillar. Those yellow machines are everywhere in Canada's resource sector: mining, forestry, construction. Caterpillar's US factories and Canadian dealers have always had the advantage of proximity and integration. But new trade deals could let rivals like Komatsu, Volvo, or Liebherr enter Canada with lower prices. A single big contract lost to a cheaper competitor could mean millions in lost sales. Local dealerships and service centers would feel the pain too. Government projects might favor suppliers from new trade partner nations. Caterpillar's incumbency is under threat. These deals are designed to break up entrenched advantages and foster competition. For Caterpillar, it's not about one lost sale, it's about a slow erosion of dominance. The Canadian market is no longer a given. Every sale will be a fight. The iconic yellow machines may soon face a lot more competition on Canadian soil. Canada's new trade path isn't just a headline. It's a game changer for iconic American brands. From cars to planes to household goods, the US-Canada economic relationship is being tested. What was once a stable, predictable market is now full of new rivals and uncertainties. These brands must adapt or risk losing their place in Canada. Is this a temporary shift or the start of a permanent realignment? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks for watching.